Tension was already running high at the Allianz Stadium when a flashpoint early in the second half poured fuel on an already combustible contest between England and Ireland. With England trailing 22-7 in their Six Nations clash, a collision at the breakdown involving Ireland prop Tadhg Furlong and England flanker Tom Curry ignited fierce debate, both on the pitch and across social media. What followed was a sequence of events that left England supporters furious, Irish fans defensive, and the officiating team under intense scrutiny. The moment occurred in the opening stages of the second half. England were attempting to regain a foothold in the match after Ireland's devastating first-half surge. Curry, one of England's most combative and industrious forwards, had become entangled in a breakdown and fell awkwardly to his knees. As bodies converged around a ruck, Furlong arrived at pace to clear out. In doing so, his forearm made forceful contact with Curry's head and face. The English flanker's head snapped backwards, his knees overextended as he fell further beneath the weight of the collision, with Furlong landing on top of him. The stadium reacted immediately. England players gestured toward the referee. Curry remained grounded momentarily. On the surface, it appeared to many that a dangerous clear-out had occurred. The referee's verdict, referee Pierre Brousset, who had taken over earlier in the match after Andrea Piardi was forced off with injury, was quick to assess the situation. The players are going in at the same time. It's dynamic, Brousset explained to England captain Mauro Itoje, indicating his view that the collision was part of a legitimate contest at the breakdown. Itoje, clearly unconvinced, pressed the issue. Did he hit his head? The England skipper asked. He is not targeting there, Brousset replied. But did he hit his head? Itoje repeated, focusing on the outcome rather than the intent. There is no foul play. It's a rugby collision, the referee concluded, urging the game to continue. In that brief exchange, the fault lines of interpretation were laid bare. Intent versus outcome, dynamism versus responsibility, rugby collision versus foul play. Context within the match, the timing amplified the controversy. England were already trailing heavily after Ireland had stormed to a 22-0 lead before halftime. Fraser Dingwall's late first-half try had offered a glimmer of hope, but momentum remained firmly with Ireland. Shortly after the Furlong, Curry collision, England's Henry Pollock was shown a yellow card for what officials deemed a cynical infringement near his own try line. Down to 14 men, England were immediately punished. Ireland capitalized with Dan Sheehan powering over for the bonus point try, a score that effectively placed the result beyond serious doubt. For England supporters, the sequence felt doubly painful. An incident involving Curry that drew no sanction, followed swiftly by a yellow card for Pollock and a try conceded. Perception, in sport, often carries as much weight as reality. And perception in that moment was combustible. Social media reaction within minutes. Clips of the collision circulated widely online. Social media platforms filled with outrage from England fans and neutral observers alike. One prominent rugby account wrote, "Feels salty to criticize the ref at this stage. That should be a card for Furlong all day long." Another commentator suggested the incident surely warranted a red card, labeling it incredibly dangerous and questioning whether Curry's neck had been put at risk. Others were incredulous that the television match official, TMO, did not intervene more assertively. Crazy that in an age of TMO, there wasn't a yellow, one post read. Some reactions were more emotive than analytical, with supporters describing the collision in stark and hyperbolic terms. For many England fans, it symbolized not just a single decision, but a broader frustration at how the afternoon had unfolded. Rugby's head contact framework. To understand the decision, it is necessary to examine the modern head contact process applied in elite rugby. World Rugby's framework assesses: 1. Was there head contact? 2. Was there foul play, e.g., high degree of danger or illegal action? 3. Was there mitigation, e.g., sudden drop in height, dynamic movement, shared responsibility? In breakdown scenarios, clear-outs are particularly scrutinized. Players must enter through the gate and avoid contact with the head or neck. However, the breakdown is inherently chaotic. Bodies change height rapidly. Players fall or twist unexpectedly. Momentum plays a significant role. Brousset's explanation centered on dynamism and lack of targeting. In other words, he judged that Furlong did not deliberately or recklessly aim for Curry's head and that the contact occurred within a legitimate contest for possession. Intent is not the sole determinant in disciplinary decisions. Outcome and danger matter. But the referee evidently believed mitigation existed. The collision in slow-motion replay suggested that Curry was on his knees at the moment of impact, potentially lowering his height in a way that altered the contact point. Furlong arrived from a legal angle, arms engaged in a clearing motion rather than swinging independently. To some viewers, the forearm contact looked forceful and direct. To others, it appeared part of a collapsing ruck where both players were adjusting positions simultaneously. Such marginal calls often hinge on split-second interpretation, in real time. Referees must process body height, entry angle, arm position, and force, all within fractions of a second. A broader debate on consistency. What fuels much of the outrage in modern rugby is perceived inconsistency. Supporters frequently cite similar incidents in other matches where sanctions were applied more harshly. England fans questioned why Pollock's infringement warranted a yellow card moments later, while Furlong's collision escaped punishment. The answer lies partly in the type of offense. Pollock's action was adjudged cynical, directly preventing a likely scoring opportunity. Furlong's was judged a dynamic collision within the breakdown. Yet for supporters, such nuance rarely tempers emotion. Calls for clearer communication between referees and audiences continue to grow. Rugby has made strides in broadcasting referee-TMO dialogue, but interpretation still varies match to match. That player welfare and public perception. The incident also feeds into a wider conversation about player safety. Head injuries remain a focal point in rugby's ongoing evolution, with stricter frameworks introduced precisely to reduce dangerous contact. When a player's head snaps backwards under force, alarm bells ring immediately. For Curry, who has endured his share of physical punishment across seasons of Test rugby, the visual impact was striking. Though he continued after treatment, the optics alone were enough to ignite debate. Supporters increasingly expect zero tolerance where head contact is concerned. Referees, meanwhile, must balance safety with realism in a sport defined by collisions. Did it change the game? From a purely competitive standpoint, the incident did not alter the match's ultimate trajectory. Ireland maintained dominance and went on to secure a commanding victory. However, moments like this can shift emotional momentum. England players appeared briefly incensed. Crowds grew vocal. For a side already chasing the game, frustration compounded pressure. When Pollock was sent to the sin bin shortly after, any lingering belief in a comeback was severely dented. In high-level sport, psychological edges matter. Whether fairly or not, some England supporters felt a sense of grievance that lingered beyond the final whistle. Refereeing under the microscope, Pierre Brousset, stepping into a high-profile Six Nations fixture mid-match after Andrea Piardi's injury, found himself navigating not only the flow of play, but also a controversial flashpoint. Taking over a test match unexpectedly is no small task. Officials prepare extensively, yet the spotlight intensifies with every major decision. Brousset's interpretation was firm. No targeting, no foul play. A rugby collision. Disagreement does not equate to error, but in the age of slow-motion replays and viral clips, scrutiny is relentless. Conclusion: the collision between Tadhg Furlong and Tom Curry will likely remain a talking point long after the championship concludes. For England fans, it symbolized frustration and perceived injustice amid a heavy defeat. For Ireland supporters, it was an unfortunate but legal moment within a fiercely contested breakdown in elite rugby. Margins are fine and interpretations nuanced. The breakdown remains one of the sport's most complex battlegrounds, a place where legality, danger, and intent intersect in split seconds. What is certain is this: in an era of heightened awareness around head contact, every such incident will be dissected, debated, and replayed countless times.